Welcome to this week's edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. Spring training rolls on as we chug towards St. Patrick's Day.
And hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I am Gary Mack, and I'm joined with Rich Baxter. Rich, how are you this week?
Not too bad, Gary Mack. How are you? And I love that new opening music for the podcast. Really energetic. It gets me moving right before we do the show.
Yeah, it certainly does. And maybe we got to play some music to kind of rev us up before every show. But Rich,
I want to start doing some jumping jacks to that music. You know that?
Nah, if I do that, I might end up in the ER or something. So, I'll just have to tap my toes forcefully against the ground. But
Yeah.
Rich, you said in the opening there about spring training rolling on, and we're a mere 18 days away now from opening day, and this news breaking now across the wires. Your Philadelphia Phillies have made a big splash.
Philadelphia Phillies, yeah, landing Jake Arrieta. Just as you said, over the wires here this afternoon, just about an hour ago before we started the podcast here on March 11th, 2018. Not bad. That's great news for me. The Phillies really needed an ace, a go-to guy, a marquee name, somebody to bring extra fans into the ballpark. And bravo, I'm very happy for the Phillies with that.
3-year deal. It's being reported at $75 million. The deal is pending a physical, but if there's no hiccups or anything, the contract will be signed. And this is gonna really boost the Phillies rotation, and I don't know if they have enough, Rich, to put them in contention for a wild card, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, and Todd Zalecki, who follows the Phillies on MLB.com, just tweeted out, based on average annual value, the Phillies signed 2 of the 5 most lucrative contracts since last season, Arrieta and Carlos Santana. So the Phillies starting to spend a little money. It's a good sign. We'll see if that can translate to some W's at the ballpark this year.
And they could be looking a year or two down the road, get these guys in now next year, maybe add another piece, and then go from there and see really what they have. They're going to have a young team. They discovered that the last year they had that young phenom come up and hit all those home runs, and so maybe they're building something there in Philadelphia. Unfortunately for the rest of the NL East, especially the Metsies, but we'll see what happens. That's why they play the games, and not to be outdone, Rich. The Minnesota Twins made another major upgrade to their rotation, and they agreed to terms yesterday with right-hander Lance Lynn on a 1-year deal worth $12 million. So again, that deal is pending and physical, but the Twinkies have made a couple of deals. They added pitcher Jake Odorizzi that they traded for, and they signed designated hitter first baseman Logan Morrison. So the Twinkies are making some moves, and of course everybody remembers they won the wild card. One of the wild card teams, they played the Yankees, I think it was last year, and they lost the wild card game. But Twinkies making some noise in the AFC Central.
Yeah, the Twins, we haven't heard too much from them lately, but as you said, yeah, it's good to see some of these smaller market teams. Not that the Phillies are a smaller market, but teams like the Twins, maybe even the Padres, make some good signings, become a little more competitive. I like that about baseball. A team can be down for a couple years, similar to the way that the Phillies have been. Your Mets endured a tough couple years, but they've brought themselves back up with great pitching and a few great signings there. How does it feel losing Granderson, by the way? I just saw him in a Toronto uniform the other day.
Well, they traded him away. They got one of the young pitchers that they got has a chance, perhaps, to make the bullpen. Probably won't make the team out of spring training, but has got a chance to be up there. And you miss the leadership, you miss the camaraderie. But at 37 or 38, however old he is, he wasn't going to play that much, and it gives opens up the opportunity for some of the young guys. Brandon Nimmo, of course, they brought back Jay Bruce and Juan Lagares. Will probably, my guess will be, they will open the year in center field, Nimmo and Lagares, until Michael Conforto comes back from his shoulder surgery that he had. So and he'll go to center field then. And but it is what it is. It's all part of the game. You move guys around, and the Phillies went through that with Howard and Utley, and I can't even remember all the guys that they had. But it is a turnover, and these things happen. But hopefully, you make it. In the Mets case, they made a deal with Granderson, traded him away, and hopefully that guy will come and produce for us. So, I just want to correct one thing. I said the AFC Central because it's the AL Central, the Twins. But if they're going to be interesting to watch, and they'll be battling with the Indians and the much improved, could be much improved. What team am I thinking of now? My mind just went blank.
Pick a team, the Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm no in the Central. I mean, gee, I can't even think now.
The
Not
Brewers.
the Tigers. The Tigers were
Okay.
they sold off a lot of their guys, so I don't know how good they'll be. But holy cow, I can't remember. I gotta look up and see who's in the American League Central. But you know, like I said, the Twinkies were in it last year, and
All right, we got the Indians, the Twins, the Royals, White Sox, and Tigers. I did
White
have to
Sox,
cheat.
that's the team that seems to be making a lot of good moves as well. The White Sox, that's the team.
Very good. Yeah, it seems like after the Houston Astros tremendous year last year with 101 wins, those guys and the team that you're wearing the hat for tonight, which I'm very in awe of. You've got the Chief Wahoo hat for the Cleveland Indians on. They had 102 wins last year.
Yes, love the Chief Wahoo, even though we probably get criticized and people are attacking Chief Wahoo, and the Indians are going to phase him out as one of the logos, but he's going to live on because I got this hat and I'm wearing it, baby. And yeah, the Indians got to be considered the front runners in that division. But as I said, the Twins may be right on their tail, and the White Sox made some moves too in the offseason, so they could be a better team than they were. Got a lot of young guys on that team. They traded away a lot of their big players and got some draft picks and some younger minor league players, so they could be on the cusp of something. Detroit, don't think they're going to be much of a threat this year. And Kansas City, who knows? I mean, they lost a bunch of guys. They did sign Musakis this week, so they got him back for I think it was a 1-year deal with an option. So, but I don't know if that's enough to really make a run. So we'll see, But There was an article about the spring training records, and look, the Yankee fans are all excited because they got the best record in the Grapefruit League, and come March 29th, that doesn't mean a thing. So I've seen great teams that have stunk in spring training and had terrible spring training records, and then went on and won 100 games. And I saw just the opposite. Poor teams be good in spring training and win games, and then stink it up in the regular season. So don't get too concerned, folks, with records. Spring training, a lot of time, especially still in this early part, guys are going out and getting work in. That's what they're doing. They're taking, maybe is it better, they're taking more pitches. They're swinging at something they normally wouldn't swing at, just to see if how they're reacting to it, how their reaction time is. Pitches too. The pitches are throwing just to build up arm strength, to get pitches done, and they're experimenting with different pitches at certain stands. So you can't really put a lot of credence into spring training. And again, guys are trying to earn jobs, so they're going to be busting it, and other guys are got jobs and just trying to get themselves into shape. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to keep the records and all of that, but it's really meaningless in the long run.
Yep. It's just good to see, baseball being played again back on the diamond. The teams taking off several months in the off season. They have to get themselves conditioned back to playing. Probably takes a long time to get conditioned to play every day for the starters, but yeah, it's a great time of year. There's a couple night games on tonight. Phillies and the Orioles are playing as we're doing this podcast, but yeah, I just can't wait. The Phillies announced a special April pass this past week, Gary. 15 games for $50. All the home games in April.
Wow, I know there's a few teams that are doing that this year, and you gonna do it, Rich? Sure.
I think it would be good for me to do this. 15 bucks. I wanted to do it in the fall last year. I didn't. I waited till the end. I was going to make the deal on it, but as it says on the website, don't wait because it's a limited time offer. So when you see these kind of deals, don't assume that they're going to go right up to opening day because they'll be gone by then. You got to take advantage of them while they're, offered. So
Now, is that a standing room only deal?
no, it's actually an app based ticket purchase. So you would check in if you go to a particular game at the ballpark via GPS. They're going to know once you hit check in that you're there at the ballpark, and then you're assigned a ticket in a number of different locations in the stadium. It could be anywhere from the outfield, the second deck. There's a couple different areas at Philadelphia Citizens Bank Park where they can seat you. So it's not standing room only, although you're certainly welcome to stand. A lot of people can stand behind home plate, for example, or along the sides. Philadelphia is one of those stadiums where even if you're seated in the second level, you can go right down to the first and just stand if you can find a spot and watch the game from a decent level. So yeah, I think it's a great deal.
You got to get yourself a rollator. You know what a rollator is?
No.
Rollator is like a walker. But the cool part about it is it's got a nice seat on it. So
Okay.
we picked one up because I got bad knees, and I don't really know why we picked it up, but my wife has bad knees too and a bad back, so she actually used hers in Cooperstown. But the cool thing about it is you got your own seat. So I'm just wondering if you brought one of those into the game and went to like standing room only, um, would they let you sit down in?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Due to the levels right in Philadelphia, you probably wouldn't see anything because of there's a row of a table right in front of you, and then it's sort of built up to a level where if you were sitting in a chair, you wouldn't see much right there at the particular area. But just being in a ballpark in general, whether or not you're standing or you get a seat, it's where to be when baseball starts up because you experience the sounds of the ballpark, the different things that are going on. There's so many distractions at a ballpark. It's hard to keep focused on the game.
Yeah, it is nowadays. And so you say it's 15 games for $50. How many of those games would you end up going to, do you think?
Well, that's the thing. If you can make as many as you can, that would be the ideal thing. But even if you went to 3 games, you figure
Probably
um,
your money back.
you got your money back. So anything over 3 games um, is a bonus for you, really. And if you wanted to see certain teams come into town, that's a good opportunity for you as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I know St. Louis is doing it as well for standing room only, I think. And I believe I read, geez, I can't remember now. I think Texas is doing something like that, and there's a couple of teams doing it. And of course, here in New York, none of them are going to do that. Um, so I wouldn't. I'm not sure if the Yankees are going to offer something, but yeah, it's a good idea. It's something I think they should do all year, considering at different parts of the season, especially in the summer when kids are home from school.
Yeah, if there's availability for tickets, I guess, they do put a cap on the amount that they sell. So, yeah, take advantage of those deals while you can. And another thing, like we were talking about in last week's show, is opening day. How many people out there that listen to us go to opening day? We hadn't had any email feedback this week. But if you do make that a trip, I know a few of our listeners are down in spring training land right now. We've heard from a few of those folks and hope they're having a great time down there. But also, I'd like to invite our listeners to stop by our YouTube site and click the subscribe button because believe it or not, now they upped it to 1,000 subscribers, Gary, to start earning
Yeah,
money
that's
with
crazy.
YouTube.
That's crazy, and so I hope people will go and just click on and subscribe. You don't even have to watch us. Just we just
Yeah.
need the numbers and
Show us your support.
yeah, get those numbers up and get your friends and family too to go and register. But yeah, they're getting nuts with that stuff as well, Rich. I guess too many people were hitting the old numbers and they decided, hey, we're losing money now. So let's make it even more difficult for people. So, but yeah, go to YouTube, check us out, and get it, get subscribed to us. And
Yep.
Rich, there's going to be some other spring training offsite games are going to be going on in across the major leagues next weekend in Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
At Cashman Field, they're going to host the annual Big League Weekend, and that edition is going to feature the Cubs and the Cleveland Indians, with the Cubs playing as the home team in both games. Uh, Toronto again is gonna, they every year they play a couple of games in Olympic Stadium. They're gonna do that again, and they're gonna be facing. It's going to be the Blue Jays and the St. Louis Cardinals. This is the 5th season the exhibitions have taken place, and they've been very, very successful, and really should open the way for Montreal to come back into the league. The El Paso Chihuahuas will welcome San Diego Padres to their park on March 26th. It's a exhibition game, part of the celebration of the Chihuahuas' 5th season, and marks the second time in 3 years that the two teams have met for an exhibition. And the list goes on. Charlotte Knights will welcome Chicago White Sox, and Norfolk Tides will host the Baltimore Orioles. And the on March 27th, the Atlanta Braves will host Braves Futures, a team that consists of some of their more well-known minor league partners or players at SunTrust Park. And that sounds like an interesting uh, thing that they're doing in Atlanta. They put together their top minor league players and bring them in, I guess, to play the big club in Atlanta. So that sounds pretty cool.
Yes, it does. A lot of fun things to go on in 2018. And of course, I think I mentioned this a couple shows ago, but this is the last year for Majestic as the official jersey provider of Major League Baseball. The MLB will go with Under Armour in 2019. So this year will be your last year to get yourself an official, authentic, Majestic jersey. So if that means that much to you, you might want to grab a jersey just on the outside chance that we don't like the Under Armour jerseys next year.
Or if you're budget conscious, you might want to wait until after the season when all the stores want to get rid of their Majestic jerseys. So they're going to slash the prices on them. So maybe that's an even better thing to do. Wait until they come out with they cut the slash the prices on it and pick up those Majestic jerseys and sweatshirts and jackets and everything else. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how they do these things, but of course it happens in all sports. And I still have my 1986 starter jacket. Remember starter when
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had the contract for the jackets and stuff.
The
And
shiny, they had a shiny material to them.
yeah. Somewhere I have that still. Probably packed away in a bin somewhere. And needless to say, I don't think it will fit 30 years later.
That's my problem with older jerseys.
But I
In fact, I just sold my number 31 Mike Piazza jersey to somebody in New York over the off season. I finally parted with it. I could have still snuck into that jersey, Gary, but I thought, let somebody else have an appreciation for this jersey. It had the 2004 Mets patch on it on the side. It was a nice jersey. I wore it all over. I wore it to England. I got a few nice pictures of myself. I wore it up to York, England. Um, so it's in New York somewhere now.
Well, that's the thing, you buy these things and then you hate to depart with them. I got a bunch of them now. I've got some Cyclones jerseys that from giveaways and some Mets jerseys on giveaways, and I'll be honest, I can't get into them, but
Yeah.
I take them anyway. If they're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it. And, I keep that, going to lose the weight and get into it one of these days. But,
And I actually ran into locally a hot spot for jerseys. There was a store that had just opened. I just happened to go inside of it one day, and I picked up a couple jerseys. One an Eagles one, an authentic type jersey, and another one was a Sixers jersey for a song and a dance. And these jerseys were awesome, Gary.
And what sizes did they go up to?
They had a gamut of all sizes. Some of the teams and numbers were a little different. I mean, I got a Randall Cunningham number 12 Mitchell and Ness jersey for a song and a dance of what it was originally worth. And they just wanted to make some money. They had just consolidated some stores, and I had to buy two. So I might have to visit them again, see if they got any fresh jerseys in. But
yeah, maybe you can get a Michael Jack Schmidt one or something,
yeah. Or one of those. Now that it's going to be St. Patrick's Day, everybody likes the green jerseys, of course.
Yeah.
I might have to get an Arietta green one now.
Hey, you may have to.
It's going to be a hot item in Philadelphia.
That's right, or Carlos Santana or something. Well, there you go. Something to shoot for. But then you can only wear that every 5 days, though, the Arietta jersey.
Well, every other day, every couple days. And of course, looking ahead to the season, we have different scenarios with the Yankees looking forward to possibly a record year and the home runs that they hit with the two guys that they have on the team now, Judge and Stanton. So you have that little thing to look forward to with the Major League Baseball season this year. And of course, we'll be bringing you our food items as well. Gary and I are always scouring the ballparks, looking at the different offerings that are up there. Usually too many calories for us, Gary.
And it's interesting that you mention that because this year it doesn't seem to be a lot of changes or a lot of announcements, even on the minor league front. I think there's a lot of minor league teams that are either moving into new stadiums, getting new stadiums built, or just renovations of current stadiums. So I think that's a big story this year. A lot of teams, of course, are extending the netting. So maybe they didn't even think about food this year, and they're just going with the fare that they had last year. But it's always great to go to the ballpark and eat.
Yes, indeed. New.
How are the prices in Philadelphia? Is it crazy there, like it is in New York?
I don't think it's as high as in New York. Usually, your hoagies, your submarines. I don't know what they would call them where you live. But they're probably on order of $10 to $12 a piece. And that's what you could almost expect to pay for at a ballpark. Um, they have the crab fries, which are seasoned with Old Bay type seasoning. They're pretty expensive. They're $7 or $8 for a bucket, but you got a whole bucket and you get a little side dip of cheese in there. You can they might even be $10 now, but they're pretty good to munch on while you're watching a game.
You know what my philosophy is, though? If you don't go to a lot of games, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I had season tickets for years, and we would bring the sandwiches and bring the little fruit juice in the cup, in the package. I mean, and sneak that in and do that. Now that I only go a couple of times a year, I go and enjoy myself. Though sometimes, I mean, it is a little expensive. Had a Keith Hernandez Mex burger one year, and that was like $14, I think, and it was good. I'm not sure it was worth $14, but
It,
it
it
was
tasted
good.
good at the time.
And with a beer, it cost me $25, $10 for a beer, I think it was. So,
Yeah,
but
that's a crime at the ballpark, that much. But you have people, and as you said, or we had a Sunday planned for several years, and you have to get a little economical because you're already spending X amount of dollars
right,
on tickets. Um, Although some of the younger people, we sat next to them all season. They would down three, four, 5 beers. I don't know how some of the thinner women can do that. I mean, I can't even drink four beers and get up and stand and act like I'm not um, inebriated, I guess.
well, it's like anything else. You got to get in shape. You do a lot of drinking, you build up a tolerance for it.
I
So,
guess so. I mean, I used to be amazed at some of these, I want to call 'em millennials that just swill down this beer, and my wife and I would look at each other like, oh God, like we'd be down for the count. They'd be wheeling us out, asleep.
well, that's the big thing now. I think it just makes you tired.
Yeah, but looking forward to a great 2018, and St. Patrick's Day is a great time for spring training as well, Gary. Do you have any type of yearly things that you do in honor of that holiday?
Well, not anymore, Rich. As you you get up in years, we have some friends that usually have a party, and we'll go. Um, but other than that, the games are interesting now. They've really made it. Years ago, the teams never really did anything, and now they've realized. I guess they can make money. People want to buy a green jersey,
Yeah,
green hat, and whatnot. And I was fortunate that when I had my season tickets, some of the years the Mets would have a cap day, and they had a number of Irish nights, and they would give you a green cap. So I'm all set there with green Mets cap. So don't have to pick up the latest one that they're offering or a jersey, but no, not too much. It's on a Saturday this year, so I'll actually get to watch the game with the uniforms. That always used to intrigue me. I would, try to catch the highlights at night on the news or whatever to see what the uniforms look like and what hats they were wearing because a couple of times they switched them around. But no, not too much. Just maybe have a cold one or two.
little green beer maybe.
Maybe a Jameson whiskey instead on the rocks. Who knows?
Nice. Well, we're looking forward towards that, of course, next Saturday as we're doing the podcast. 6 days away for St. Patrick's Day, and as Gary said, everything turns green um, for St. Patrick's Day with the MLB now. And he's right. Years ago, uh, Major League Baseball didn't focus as much as it does today on issues that may matter and be big in social media. It's amazing how baseball is almost being driven in a sense by social media today, Gary. And they're using it as well, but they're also responding to social media.
Well, I think they're responding to social media and they use the whole internet to their advantage. The MLB shop is a big thing, and when we were kids, when I was a kid, especially, you couldn't get a hat. It was tough to get an official hat or a jersey or whatnot, and now you can go online and get it. And I mean, the jerseys are a little ridiculous for the official ones. It's like $300 or something, but you can pick up the hats. Um, and as I said, no teams ever did anything for um, St. Patrick's Day, and to be honest, no teams ever did anything really. They had one hat and two jerseys essentially. They had a home and away jersey. We didn't have alternate jerseys, but they found a way to make money on this, and so now they have the alternates. They have the Memorial Day jerseys and the hats and the July 4th and Father's Day and Mother's Day and any holiday you can think of, they have something for now. And look, if the stuff sells, they're going to keep doing it.
That's for sure. And speaking of keep doing it, we're keeping getting poor weather here in New Jersey as we chug towards spring. Another nor'easter headed towards us. I don't think you're going to get this one, Gary, though, up in New York.
Oh, I don't know. We got a winter storm warning up, and they're talking 4 to 8 inches, and they name a bunch of counties. So, um, don't know if we'll get that much, but yeah, I think we are going to get some of it.
So we're still waiting for spring, officially and unofficially in the area. It teases us every now and again with a nice 60-degree day. But as we said before, it's great to see baseball on. And as we get closer to opening day, we'll give you our predictions coming up soon on the show. Always one of my favorite times of the year, our annual show where we make our predictions.
Oh boy, I don't have any idea this year. I'm so confused after my picks the last couple of years. I don't know, but
Well, at least you know, you do your research, and that's what you have to do. Especially when you do the podcast like we're doing. And for our listener, I think he's a viewer as well. I've got my Toronto Blue Jay jersey on just you know, for our listeners that may not view us on YouTube. I'm wearing some other team's jersey tonight.
see that? So keep those cards and letters coming in, and as we say, if you're from a town that you want us to have their hat or whatever on, write us, and we'll give you our address. You can send us one. Maybe get one right at the ballpark and send it to us. So be happy to wear it for you.
Absolutely, and we could even take a donation. I think you can buy a gift card right at lids.com and send it to somebody. So, we wouldn't be turning those away either. And we want to thank all of our listeners out there and watchers on YouTube. We need more views, we need more subscribers. So please go over there, check us out on baseballtalkradio.com. It's the home for great baseball radio talk shows. And Gary, I got to jump over there myself and listen to some of the other shows because they sometimes come up with some great ideas. Ivy Envy comes to mind, the Cubs podcast there. They got a lot of loyal listeners, and they're a great bunch of guys. So shout out to Baseball PhD as well. Um, the whole gang, they do a great job.
They certainly do, Rich, and as you say, there's all teams and all sorts of things there, and go check it out at baseballtalkradio.com.
Well, thanks for listening to this edition of the show. We'll be back next weekend. Maybe we'll wear a green jersey or a hat, Gary. It'll be St. Patty's Day weekend.
That's right. We'll have to have something green on.
All right. We'll talk to you then. Have a nice week, everyone, and enjoy spring training as we go towards St. Patty's Day.